let's explore attachment styles. Now, according to Mary Ainsworth, there are known to be 4 main attachment styles. You have avoidant, dismissive, secure, and anxious. Ideally, we all would love to be in that secure attachment, and let's explore why. First up, looking at anxious attachment style. This is that feeling that my needs can be met sometimes, so I have to make them known. Somebody with the anxious attachment style has been in a parent-child relationship where the adults are preoccupied with something else. The adults have romanticized things instead of seeing what is exactly right there in front of us. We are missing the true value of what's in front of us. Now let's take a look at avoidant attachment style. Now, avoidant attachment style is someone who has extreme independence, very few close friends, and emotionally distant. Someone who identifies with that can affirm, my emotional needs are rarely met, so I'll take care of myself. Now, just imagine someone who's in that stage where it's just like, there's really nobody around to attend to this child's needs growing up, so they just try to do things for themselves. I think we've seen some of those children and might have thought differently of them before now, huh? Disorganized attachment is where you fear your caregiver and you fear yourself. You really don't know who to trust. You have been let down by the adults, and then you try to do things on your own, and things have gone to shit, and you just don't really know who to trust, okay? Now, ideally, we all would love to live in the space of secure attachment. Secure attachment, that energy is, I can trust that my needs will be met consistently, okay? Secure attachment, we're comfortable with communication. We are comfortable in relationships. We're okay to express our needs, set boundaries, advocate for ourselves, speak up for ourselves. There is no fear in open communication. Now, I do understand that energy shifts and we're not always going to be in the best of moods in secure attachment, but ideally that's the space that we desire to be in. If you notice that you bounce in between any of those, I want you to do a couple of exercises, okay? I want you to understand that you have value, okay? And that whatever no or disappointment or letdown or pain or trauma that you experienced in the past does not define who you are, okay? Now, remember we explored love languages, right? And that took a look at the shadow in regards to the language and the verbiage and how you were treated as a child, which would then decide what your love language is. Now, exploring your attachment style, you now look at, are you someone who kind of stays a little bit too long? Are you extremely accepting of certain things, so forgiving of everybody, and making space and making a way for people to have a way, but you're not getting that in return? If you find that you are in these relationships where things are not balanced and things are off to one side or the other, it could definitely mean that you need to check in with your attachment style. Why are you compromising self in order for the better of someone else? Now, here's where the shadow work comes in. I want you to go back to different instances, but I'm going to see if this triggers a memory. I want you to go back to the first time you were like excited about something and you can remember that there was something that you wanted to do, pursue, go, explore, or see. Now, within that memory, what was the reaction of your parents or your caregivers or the adults around you? Were you welcomed with open arms? Were they super excited to support you through this? Or was there some opposition towards your dreams or something that excited you in the moment? Now, if you find that there was some tension, that definitely could be a trigger whenever you decide that you want to proclaim that there's something that you want to do. Whenever you want to step out there and say, oh, this is something that I want to do, or I like this, or I want to go here, or I would like to learn this, or try that, right? Or buy this, purchase that. See, your attachment style comes into that because there can then become a concern about what someone else might think about what you want to do. Then that becomes someone else's influence over your actual life. Now, we're going to explore how building more trust in self can help you navigate through your attachment style. A great way to build trust in self to help you work through your attachment style is to commit to one thing for 30 days. Now, I know that that sounds very hard, but do y'all remember those viral like 30-day squat challenges or 30-day ab challenges? And they were everywhere. Everyone was all big on it only takes 30 days to do this, but it's true. 15 days for repetition, 30 days to create a habit. My numbers could be off, but that's what we're working with. I want you to try to commit to something for 30 days. Journal about it. I've got plenty of journal options. Check out my Etsy if you're not familiar, but journal about it. Grab yourself a journal and for 30 days say, I'm going to commit this, okay? Now, also, treat yourself how you would expect others to treat you. Now, if we're coming from a space where we don't feel like everyone treated us the best and we're learning to up our value and love ourselves more because the outside was not so nice to us, it's important for us to really dive in deep with this, really with this, because you want to treat yourself how you would expect others to treat you. And in this case, you only want the best. You're not going to make believe a situation where people are mean to you, right? So what does that look like to treat you how you expect others to treat you? Now, another thing you're going to do is set boundaries. Say no when you want to say no. Don't always be so agreeing to different situations. Take your time and think about things. Don't always just go along with other people's opinion to keep the peace. At some point, if you give a little bit of kickback and the people are just like, oh, okay, then that's your people and that's your tribe. But if you give a little kickback and you get some opposition, then you know that person's really not for you anyway. So their opinion doesn't matter. You set the boundary. They show their true colors. It's time to go, right? All right. And also, one of my ultimate favorite ways to increase self-love, increase your value, and to build trust in self is to spend time with yourself. The best way to trust yourself is for you to make the decisions, what you're going to eat, where you're going to go, what route you take. I know there's like plenty of a lot of the same thing, but where will you go to do a lot of the same thing at? When you do it on your own, that's you trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, and trusting that you're capable to make the right choices for yourself. Trust is key when it comes down to your attachment styles. If you have been in situations as a child where you don't know where your needs are going to come from, where your next meal is going to come from, you don't know if your caregiver is going to snap at you when you ask for something, you don't know if it's going to become an argument, you don't know if things are going to be aggressive, if you don't know anything like that, knowing that you can trust yourself is huge, because no longer depending on any outside elements for your happiness and for your safety is so key, and the benefits are going to feel so good, okay? So like I've mentioned before, no, you're not always going to feel insecure attachment. There might be some times where you might feel like, a little bit anxious. You might feel disappointed by some things. You might be a little fearful of what could happen. But if you trust that you've always got your best interest, and you trust that you're going to make the right decisions for yourself, then ideally you can always shift into secure attachment whenever you need. You won't be devastated by little things. You won't be devastated by disappointments or hiccups or things that don't go your way. You're able to just pick yourself back up, redirect yourself, and then get back out there. Little minor disappointments won't ruin your whole day. It could, trip you up for a little bit, but is it going to totally throw you off? No. And that is the goal of being in that secure attachment. Alrighty. So exploring your attachment style definitely will help you look at when you might have needed to detach, maybe when you could have shown a little bit more, and this is all for the energy of you being someone who is confident, who trusts themselves, who loves themselves, and who values themselves. Right? And you can come to any situation confidently, not needing any other outside approval around your thoughts, plans, or ideas. Okay? So that's that one, attachment style, my loves. Beautiful soul, you're doing a great job at loving you and learning more and exploring all that is you. Stay well. Bye.